This is a 2006 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG. And this is a 2003 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG. Aside from a couple tiny little differences between these cars that are cosmetic, you'd never be able to tell the difference. They both have the same 5.4 liter supercharged V8 pushing out 469 horsepower and 516 foot-pounds of torque. They both share the same 5-speed automatic transmission, and most importantly, they're both silver. Today we're at Sound Performance in Bensenville, Illinois, and we're going to throw these two on the dyno and see if they put out the exact same amount of power. At this point, you may be scratching your head, Alex, why would you be doing this test? These cars are totally the same and they're going to make the exact same amount of power. And that would be an accurate assumption if you didn't know the mileage on each one of these E55s. The 2006 E55 on my right has only 69,000 miles and will provide an awesome baseline number for the 2003. If you haven't already figured it out, this 2003 is a car I've done a previous video on last year, and it has a whopping 402,000 miles. All original engine, one owner, and all maintenance records. For this test, we're going to be using a Mustang dyno. Both cars will be in dyno mode, and both cars will be in 4th gear, which is 1-to-1 ratio for the transmission. These cars are completely stock, so this comparison will be apples to apples, as it will be done in the exact same day, and we will split it up between 3 runs each car, so we can average the dyno runs and get a really clear number on exactly what these cars make. Before we strap these things down to the rollers, I just want to give a big thanks to iCar Chicago in Skokie, Illinois for once again letting me beat the ever-living hell out of their E55. Also a big thank you from Matt from the YouTube channel Warp Perception for providing his E55. He actually bought this thing brand new. I'll put a link in the description below to his channel. So without further ado, let's get Matt's down first and get some baseline numbers.
Now, wheel spin was a huge issue with the 2006. Check this out. We figured roasting the tires on the first run would help out for the second, and it didn't. Finally, we wised up and threw a couple guys in the back. Now it was time to get the 402,000 mile E55 on, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty nervous about this. I knew right from the beginning of this run that something was wrong with this car. We gave it another shot, and it didn't really go all that well. After that disappointment, I went home to assess what exactly had happened.
All right, what's up everybody? We are back at home base in my garage to talk about what happened with this 2003 E55 with 400,000 miles. The dyno session with that car did not exactly go as planned. We started off with the 2006 and it put down some pretty normal numbers. The first two runs were indeed in fourth gear and we only were able to get it up to about 5,500 RPM, and I suspect the reason for that was an actual limiter due to mile an hour. So what we did for the last run is we put it down to third gear. We did get it up a little bit higher in RPM, but only up until about 5,900 RPM, and it put down 389. But that's okay, it was totally normal numbers for that car. Had we brought it up to like 6,500 on a Mustang dyno, it would have put down about 400 to the tires, which is basically what everybody else is doing. Next up was the whole point of this experiment, which was the 2003 with 402,000 miles. And we did not get any really good results from it, and I don't believe it was because the car was worn out or anything like that. I think it has a bad coolant pump. There is a pump on this car for the water-to-air intercooler system. They are notorious for going bad. When I was driving the car to the dyno, and I had it the night before also, the car seemed fine, totally good on power, felt like any other E55. But then the next day we put it on and we did have some wheel spin issue like the other car in the beginning, so it heated up a little bit on the dyno. And then we had the first run, which was at 327 horse and like 391 foot-pounds of torque, which is definitely low but not horribly bad considering. Then the next run really told us what was going on because it didn't sound like the supercharger was coming on at all, and it put down like a couple hundred horsepower. And what happens with these systems is if this pump goes bad and the intake air temperatures get so high, the supercharger is actually on an electronic clutch and it'll shut that system completely off and put down a couple hundred horsepower like it did. I let it cool down right before I left for about a half hour and it had all of its power back on the street. In the end, everybody, I think that car just needs a repair, a very common coolant pump. It's probably got a few 100,000 miles. I highly doubt it's the original, but Mercedes did come out with an updated pump. So I'm working on some numbers for the owner of the car at iCars Chicago to fix that car. And also it had like a little shake that I think might be a trans mount or something along those lines, but nothing major. But the good news here is that the owner of the car wants redemption. He really thought his 2003 was going to put out more power than the 69,000 mile 2006. So what we're going to do after I fix this car is we're going to line them up on the highway for a good old race. No more dynos, no more confusion with RPM limiters and whatever. We're just going to put these things neck and neck on the highway so traction is not an issue. And we're gonna go for it and see who comes out ahead. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you're new to the channel, this is a car channel. I do videos like the one you just saw, racing, DIYs, builds, reviews, you name it, it is right here. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I've been writing a column for altdriver.com. So after these videos, I will be writing an article that goes a little bit more in depth on what you saw. So if you like more specifications, and also I'll put a bunch of links to whatever I'm using in the video if possible, they will all be in the article. So check it out, it will be in the description below. I hope you follow along. Also, if you're big into AMGs and Mercedes, aside from the race that I'm gonna do with this car, I'm gonna be doing a few other videos on this super high mileage E55, which I believe to be the highest in the world. And we're also gonna start covering some more AMG cars. So definitely check back with us for those. And as always, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.